You're what's popping, gang? So y'all know I'm a big sports buff, football buff, somewhat basketball buff. I love sports. So and a lot of people that don't know, I used to play football. And I was raw. I was supposed to went to the NFL, but it just happened. Uh, tonight, it's not nighttime yet, bro. today, today, I'm finna rock out with the little Ray Lewis video I saw scrolling down YouTube, and it's about an incident that happened. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was like early 2000s or 2000 or something like that, and it involved Ray Lewis. So you know me, I want to deep dive into it, figure out what's really happening, what's really the going zones, and uh uh uh. But you know how we do it over here. We don't waste no time. We want to jump right into it, and we want to see the video, right? So we do it. And there's can you see it? Can you see it? Uh, I be having too much fun doing this, man. Too much.
Watch football all season long, live and cable free.
Following a thrilling Super Bowl
Yeah,
in Atlanta.
it was 2000. But yeah, and like I always say, be on the lookout for my podcast coming, cause I'm finna start dropping them.
The dark hours of January 31st, 2000 are to this day surrounded in mystery. Lying in the street, 200 yards from a nightclub, are the bodies of two young men. Ray Lewis, one of the NFL's up-and-coming stars, was at that club. He donned a white suit. He would later be charged with murder. His white suit has, to this day, never been found. Even after 2 Super Bowl victories and an induction in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Lewis's reputation has never fully recovered. The mystery swirling around that night.
Who mans is this? Who mans is this, bro? I don't even watch intros. Who mans is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, bro. Like, who mans is this?
Mother and a father who was in and out of his life.
Ray Lewis
Lewis
is the
became
GOAT.
the de facto caretaker to his 4 younger siblings, brushing his sister's hair and ensuring they got to daycare on time. As his father began to withdraw from his life, Ray took the last name Lewis from a man he was not biologically related to, his mother's boyfriend. A smaller player at just 6'1", Lewis used his wrestling background to create leverage as a linebacker at Kathleen High School in Lakeland, Florida, where his talents eventually earned him a scholarship at the University of Miami. After 3 years and a Butkus Award at the U, Lewis became a first-round pick in 1996, the second ever selection of the Baltimore Ravens. In Lewis's first 4 years in the NFL, he established himself as a force in the middle of the field, emerging as a Pro Bowler in 1997, 1998, and 1999. That year, Lewis was a first-team All-Pro selection, but with a record of just 8-8, the Ravens were absent from the postseason. Ray Lewis was free to make arrangements, so he headed to Atlanta, the site of Super Bowl 34. Little did he know the events of that night would alter his life forever.
He probably don't even think about that,
Facing
bro.
off with the Wild Card Titans, a thrilling, blood-pumping game that reached a dramatic conclusion. Meanwhile, Lewis was riding through Atlanta in a Lincoln Navigator limousine, cruising the streets in the early hours of the morning, looking to enjoy the nightlife with friends. This celebration led them to the Cobalt Lounge, a nightclub in Atlanta's Buckhead neighborhood. Inside the club, disputes erupted quickly between Lewis's group and other patrons. To say the night wasn't going smoothly was an understatement. These disagreements persisted into the parking lot as they were departing the club. A physical altercation began when Jacinth Baker, a 21-year-old man who lived in Decatur, Georgia, struck Reginald Oakley, an old friend of Ray Lewis, on the head with a champagne bottle. This altercation escalated when the dust settled. Baker and a 24-year-old man named Richard Lawler were left dead in the street. The medical
I knew Ray
examiner
Lewis
from
was a
Fulton
savage.
County later asserted.
All right, so it's gonna get cut out. All right, so it's gonna be a cutout. All right, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's gonna be a big cut, but it's cool because it was worth it because I had to tend to that. So, but like I said, y'all gotta remember back in this time when this happened, I was two. I wasn't even two. I was one, maybe, because what happened in what December? No, I don't think I was. I think I was. I don't know, bro. I was freshly born, bro. I was still a baby. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't over two, so maybe I don't know, bro. I was born in '99. You know what I'm saying? I'm high. But long story short, I wasn't old enough to, you know what I'm saying, remember this. You know what I'm saying? So, mm, I'm not gonna say it didn't tarnish his career because I didn't I heard about it, but I didn't know about it like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanna look at it with y'all. So
Suggested a level of anatomical knowledge on the part of the assailant. Precise, surgical. Lewis hurriedly departed the scene in his limousine, accompanied by around 11 other individuals, including Oakley and Joseph Sweeting, old friends from Miami. Approximately 5 gunshots were heard as the limousine drove away. However, it remained uncertain whether these shots were fired from within the vehicle or directed at it from outside. Some hours later, Ray Lewis would be arrested and booked under suspicion of committing first-degree murder and was detained without the possibility of posting bail.
under suspicion?
Meanwhile, Oakley and Sweeting had vanished. In a matter of hours, Max Richardson, an attorney representing Lewis, released a statement refuting any direct involvement in the deaths. Richardson maintained that the situation merely involved a well-known public figure, coincidentally finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong
Bro,
time.
yeah, he probably was,
Following the
man.
announcement of his charges, the Ravens linebacker addressed the media. He stated, "The devil is busy, always after God's children. He is always trying to get
Yeah,
to
y'all. Hey, that's one thing about Ray Lewis, bro. And that's why I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? He did do that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Don't get me wrong, Ray Lewis is a savage. Now, don't get me wrong. If he probably, I feel like if he feel like you're gonna do something to him, then yeah, he gonna do something to you. But I don't think a little altercation at the club, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ray Lewis don't seem like the type to carry a gun, bro. Like, let's be real. And he probably got rid of his suit because he got blood on his suit and he want to get locked up because he know that he a public figure, bro. And they gonna give it to him just like they trying to do Melly. Free Melly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. That's he a big Christian, bro. That's one thing about Ray Lewis. If y'all don't know, he a Christian. He a big Christian. He had a little ritual before the game. He'll go and pray and you know what I'm saying, all of that good but yeah, he a big Christian, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, and for those that don't know, and for those who do know, Big Peso is not. The complete opposite. I'm not gonna say a good thing. Y'all gonna say I'm saying this. I'm an atheist. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in anything. So that's that. I just wanted to touch on that because a lot of people don't understand how big of a Christian he actually was.
way or another. And as we'll see, the devil is in the details. Let's skip ahead to the trial. Initially, Ray Lewis would stand trial for the murders, with the charges not dismissed prior to them reaching a courtroom. However, despite making it this far, the prosecution didn't seem too confident that they had enough evidence on Lewis. As the murder trial progressed over a few weeks, Lewis and his legal team reached a plea deal.
Like, I did not know
Linebacker would
about all
plead
of this.
down to an obstruction of justice charge, but he was also compelled to testify against his 2 friends who were involved in the incident. You could say it was a trade. Around the same time, NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue slapped Lewis with a fine of $250,000. But as details of the night came out, the court of public opinion's eyebrows were still raised. During his initial interview with the police, Lewis had not been entirely forthcoming and had also advised others on that night to withhold information about the incident. His obstruction hindered an investigation into a serious criminal event, which caused a significant portion of the public to view Lewis's actions negatively. Still, despite the plea deal, if you thought he was guilty, it seemed like Ray Lewis had literally gotten away with murder, and the fine was just a slap on the wrist. Lewis returned to Ravens training camp later that same year. Even with the magnifying glass of HBO's inaugural season of Hard Knocks, he and the Ravens were poised for a breakout season in 2000. During that season, the Ravens managed to establish a remarkable record by allowing the fewest points, 165, and fewest rushing yards, 970, across a 16-game single-season span. Their defense was nothing short of stifling, with Ray Lewis as the centerpiece. In Super Bowl 35 against the New York Giants, Lewis notched 5 tackles and knocked away 4 passes on his way to winning.
I'm telling you, Ray Lewis the GOAT, bro.
Usually that person says, I'm going to Disneyland for a commercial. Instead of Lewis, the cameras picked out Ravens quarterback Trent Dilfer, asking him to say those 5 magic words. Dilfer can best be described as an active participant in the game. It was all on Ray Lewis. And Lewis would go on to win another Super Bowl in his final game. Another bizarre one. His ride into the sunset was an inspirational
It was.
And despite some lingering public scrutiny, the red letter on his chest was beginning to fade, or actively be ignored. Did it ever belong there in the first place? And what happened to that white suit? The incident. I am innocent, Lewis said in May of 2000. But of course, I've been ordered by the court that I can't speak about the case, so I won't. All I can do is sit back and wait for justice to take its course. Lewis spent his
He
25th
humble, bro.
birthday
He's
in a
so
Fulton
humble.
County courtroom on trial for double homicide. Just 5 years earlier, another NFL legend was on trial for murdering 2 people.
But he
in
actually did it,
Brentwood,
though.
California. There was an overriding sense that the prosecutors in that trial.
Hold on. He did not just compare Ray Lewis' case to O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson did it. He was guilty. We all know that. Everybody. Ray Charles knew that he was guilty. We all knew he was guilty. Look at him. That man. That man was relieved. He was like, "Ooh." I made it. Come on. That man knew he did it. And y'all let him walk. Don't compare Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is questionable. You know what I'm saying? I'd do more digging if I got to, but he's questionable. We can say he didn't do it. He did it.
Failed in proving O.J. Simpson's guilt, and this time, the prosecution needed to put Lewis behind bars for the rest of his life. When Lewis took the stand on June 6th, he said that he saw the champagne bottle that struck an acquaintance, and said that all hell broke loose. Lewis stated that he tried to break up the fight. Witnesses allege that Lewis threw a punch, though no one saw him with a knife in his hand. Security guard Kevin Brown watched as the action unfolded. Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler both hailed from Akron, Ohio. Both had criminal records. Baker for violating probation on gun possession, and Lawler for possession of marijuana. Brown's testimony seems to provide the most detail of the fracas. He recounted the altercation
Like, which one is Ray Lewis, though?
quickly escalated,
Is that him right here? Or is that him?
leading to Baker and Lawler being severely injured and lying on the street in a matter of
Because they say he
moments.
was wearing
As
white.
Brown took action to clear the area of people, he saw Baker fatally wounded on the pavement. At the same time, he noticed Lawler walking towards them, also fatally wounded. Lawler had been stabbed 5 times, twice in the heart. Baker was stabbed twice, but his face beaten so badly he had to have a closed casket at his wake. The incident occurred
didn't show
around
me
200
stabbed.
yards away from the
Damn,
club
okay.
where the altercations began.
Okay, never
Brown's
mind. I can see
testimony
Ray
also
Lewis
included that
having
he
a.
saw a knife on the ground.
dang.
Heard someone admit, "I stabbed him." Lewis and 10 others fled the scene, jumping into the stretch limousine. Shots were fired.
Okay.
Later
it's
on,
okay.
bloodstains were found in the limousine. A witness mentioned that during the ride, one of the passengers discarded a white hotel laundry bag into a dumpster outside a fast food restaurant. Another witness confirmed seeing a passenger leave the car and head towards a trash can holding a brown paper bag. Prosecutors claim that the bag contained Lewis's blood-stained white suit. The suit itself was never recovered. When the police caught up with the limo driver, he was shaking and chain-smoking cigarettes, clearly traumatized by being caught in the midst of that violent outburst. Atlanta detective Ken Allen would testify that he found a small folding knife discarded on the ground next to the bodies of Baker and Lawler, matching the account given by security guard Kevin Brown. Investigators revealed that they traced the knife discovered at the crime scene back to the sporting goods store where Lewis had been autographing items on the day preceding the Super Bowl. Although a witness recounted seeing Oakley and an unidentified man with a knife, no one testified to witnessing Lewis holding a knife. Mysteriously, forensic examinations indicated a lack of blood or fingertips on the knife that had been found at the scene by detectives.
If he went and signed, if he going to sign, and he with his partners, which he end up going out with that night, and one of his partners bought the knife, dummies, it ain't Ray Lewis. He only had the blood on him because he was trying to break up the fight, and someone got the Pokemon.
Ken Allen. To say Ray Lewis was unhelpful during the investigation is an understatement. Police officers testified that Ray Lewis's original police statement included a number of lies, saying he didn't know the names of the people in his limo, and that Lewis refused to sign the statement, saying he had to leave for Hawaii to play in the Pro Bowl and would answer questions later. The dust had settled. Witnesses had been interviewed, statements issued, and murder charges filed. Now, let's start asking some questions of our own. There were 3 people charged with murder in this incident. However, none of them served a single day in jail. In fact, Ray Lewis, the person who claims he is most innocent, was the only defendant to suffer any criminal consequences. A 12-month suspended sentence and a misdemeanor for obstruction of justice.
He's the most famous
Lewis,
one out of all
Oakley,
3 of them.
and
What
Joseph
y'all
Sweeting
expect?
were also charged with murder. But the question is, why were they charged at all? The limo driver, Dwayne Fassett, provided the most damning link to the killings. Fassett told police he had seen Sweeting, Oakley, and Lewis all fighting or involved. He said he'd heard Oakley boast, "I stabbed mine," and Sweeting reply, "I stabbed mine too." The victim, Baker's blood, was found in the limo. However, nobody saw the stabbings take place, except the 4 or 5 people involved. So, where was Ray Lewis during all of this? According to him, he sat calmly against the limousine while the fracas occurred. But then why later would his white suit allegedly be so stained with blood it had to be thrown away? We know that because he made inconsistent statements. He would later be charged with murder. But did the police really have any evidence other than him being there? Nobody said they saw him fighting. Nobody saw him with a knife. Nobody saw him near the victims. It seemed overzealous for him to be charged with murder. Though, here's what I think really happened. Keep in mind, this is my opinion and purely speculation. However, a good theory is needed to put this case to bed. It was a rowdy bunch of guys at the nightclub. Lawler and Baker, the victims, may have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe they played into the rowdiness and didn't know who they were messing with. The key event was the champagne bottle that struck Oakley. We don't know if this was the start of the altercation, but it led to the end. Once everyone got outside, all hell broke loose. Oakley and Sweeting weren't backing down. Neither were Lawler and Baker. Unfortunately for them, they didn't know the people they were tussling with had knives, and it cost them their lives. However, if there's ever any good advice, walking away from an altercation.
Yeah, it's always better you can save your life. Yeah. But that's it for this one. Probably gonna be my last video. I might do one more. Because I got the podcast. So I probably do one more video. Like I said, this will get chopped down. This ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Because, but see y'all on the next one, man. RIP to them people. Ray Lewis is innocent. OJ Simpson was guilty. And